Yo, what's going on, guys? It's me, that we're here back with part 4 for What If Naruto was Tsunade's grandson, aka Senju Naruto. Last time, with a quick little recap, so you guys don't have to go and watch the whole thing, but I would greatly appreciate if you do. If you're new to the series, FYI, make sure up here to the top upper right hand corner, you'll find a playlist with all the prior parts to the series so far, so you can catch up and get back here to part 4, where we'll be getting into the main meat of the Tsunade exams. So, let's get right into it. Naruto just passed out with Sasuke and Sakura carrying him after he had unleashed all of his chakra combined with the One-Tail state on Orochimaru using Woodstyle Deep Forest Emergence just to push him back. And now a big angry snake Sannin was now buried under an entire forest and was not very happy. With Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto basically running as fast as they could, a huge explosion would appear through the forest as the woods would start burning. Orochimaru clearly not playing around anymore, now trying to go after the three. But they would have a fair head start, having made it to that cave where Sakura had hid the two in the original canon timeline of Naruto. It's here where Anko and Orochimaru's fight would happen, with him being distracted and pushed away from Sasuke and Team 7. Having successfully now escaped Orochimaru, the sound ninja would be sicked onto Team 7 by Orochimaru and Kabuto's orders, and with the three now hiding, this would be when the sound ninja would appear. Sasuke stepping out with Sakura begging him not to, as he would confront all three of them at the same time. This, of course, is when Sasuke is going to get his ass beat. Sasuke would try his best fighting them, but honestly he's basically just holding them off while he's getting beat slowly and worn down. That is, until Rock Lee arrives. Just like the original canon, Rock Lee would arrive in time to save Sakura from her screaming, actually seeing Sasuke getting attacked 3-on-1. As he leaps down from the treetop, you would see Naruto unconscious with Sakura having a wet towel that she somehow has over his head. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know where she got that from in the original either. Anyway, Rock Lee and Sasuke now have a 2 versus 3 fight, and here's when things start to change. Sasuke and Rock Lee using combos with taijutsu to finally break the wind pipes inside the first guy's arms, taking him out of the fight completely. Now turning into a 2-on-2 fight, Sasuke would get beat down pretty quickly since he was already exhausted, with the girl fighting Sakura, who would jump in after Sasuke is knocked unconscious. Those two fighting it out while Rock Lee takes on the leader of the sound team, the guy who was originally sent to test Sasuke's curse mark, but in this version it's just to find Sasuke and report back to Orochimaru. And in this version he would get destroyed by Rock Lee. You see, something that's different here is that Lee would actually take his leg weights off during this portion of the fight, considering that now that Sasuke is down and Sakura's getting abused, Lee is really the only one left, and Naruto's still unconscious from using all of his chakra. So Lee taking off his leg weight to be more than sufficient to defeat both of the sound ninja, recovering Sasuke and Sakura thanking him, causing Lee to blush as he runs back to his group back to meet with Neji and Tenten, who had pretty much already collected the scroll they needed, heading now towards the main tower. Wondering where Lee had been. Back of Team 7, who had just been saved by Lee, Sasuke would be cursing his own weakness right now, wondering why he isn't strong. Having witnessed behind him what Naruto had done, basically overpowering Orochimaru, one of the Sannin. We see in back then Sasuke with his weary face, seeing Naruto using his power to grow an entire forest on top of Orochimaru. Sasuke would tighten his fist, looking down at his hands shaking, covered in dirt, dust, and scars, basically having done nothing. Weak, useless. This would manage to make Sasuke even angrier as he turns back to see Naruto unconscious with a huge bubble blowing out of his nose. Naruto practically snoring at this point as Sasuke would kick him in the gut, telling him to wake his ass up. We're alive? Yes, you're alive, Sasuke would say. Thanks to you. Naruto would grin, saying, of course. I mean, I am the best after all. And I can't feel my legs. Naruto falling over. Maybe a little too soon to get up. Sasuke, Sakura, anyone want to hand me an arm here? No? Gee, thanks guys. Naruto would pull himself to his feet, feeling his calves cramping and pain all over his body from using all of his chakra like that. Basically vacuum sucking all of his chakra into a single jutsu, which normally would have the potential to kill a person. At least in OG Naruto before they change all the rules and ship it in. But life fatal of using all your chakra, right? Yeah. Basically, Naruto is like a cripple for now. Naruto would be helped up by one arm by Sasuke, who would think this is at least something I can do. As he, Sakura, and Naruto would journey forward, walking towards the center tower, where they'd eventually be met up with by Kabuto. Things play out just like the original, with him accepting Kabuto's help because Naruto's not fully recovered, Kabuto revealing that he's actually a medical ninja and healing Naruto's muscles and body. Naruto would stand flexing his arms and legs, saying he feels way better now, thanking him. Kabuto would simply smile with his eyes closed, his fake shell of a mask coming on once again, unknown to our heroes of course, saying it was no big deal. Besides, I need your guys' help to even get to the tower. So, think of it as a mutual trade. Team 7 along with Kabuto would make it to the center of the tower, fending off a variety of both ninja and genjutsu who were trying to confuse them and make it so they couldn't get into the center of the tower. And it's through these efforts that they would actually have been able to make it through, beating the game of the Forest of Death and making it to the center tower. Kabuto splitting off from the group shortly after arrival, sleeking off into the darkness to report to Orochimaru all he had seen. Team 7 has now all made it to the next phase of the exam, with little to no injuries, seeing that all of them are pretty much recovered, unlike when Sasuke had the curse mark afflicting him and ruining his chakra control in the original, and Naruto just being Naruto. The fights for this tournament section of the Chunin exams would begin, with the same lots being drawn, with Naruto fighting Kiba. Kiba in this version doesn't exactly know how strong or weak Naruto is, but considering he had Sasuke on his team, he figured that Naruto probably got carried here by the #1 rookie of their year. Kiba would start with trying to intimidate Naruto into surrendering, simply saying that's a 2-on-1 fight with him and Akamaru fighting him, saying that Naruto might as well just give up now. Naruto would show little to no reaction to this, yawning, saying, I could go for a big nap right about now. This would make Kiba far angrier, as he tells Akamaru to use that attack, with Akamaru using human beast transformation turning into a copy of his master Kiba, and the two spinning at a whirlwind attack towards Naruto. Naruto would use a wood clone, as he and the wood clone would catch the two spinning. Kiba would begin to feel blood covering him, wondering what's going on. Kiba noticing that there's wires? No, they're barbed vines. Naruto used a little bit of Woodstyle to create these barbed vines covering his hands, which were both cutting him and Kiba. Naruto confident in his healing ability that this would be minor to no issue. Kiba would stop spinning, falling back as he feels prickles all over his body, realizing there's burrs covering where he had been scratched, now limiting his movements. Oh god, I hate these things! Scratching and trying to pull them off. Naruto would smirk, laughing, telling Kiba he's got burrs all over his pants. Kiba raising his fist, pointing his finger at Naruto, saying it's all his fault, saying these are never gonna come off, with tears running down his face. Naruto would smirk, giving a coy laugh, causing Kiba to get even angrier, as he and Akamaru would go again on the offensive. Akamaru and Kiba would again use a twin fang, with both of them spinning rapidly towards Naruto. Naruto in this version would decide that the simple best course of action is avoiding the fight. Naruto would use a wood-style jutsu, lifting him off the ground, rising up to the ceiling, Naruto attaching his own chakra to the top of the ceiling, and deactivating the wood-style jutsu, the wood completely rotting away, as Naruto would simply look down at Kiba and Akamaru, who couldn't even reach him. Naruto would hold his arms, crossing them, asking the proctor if Kiba has to give up or be knocked unconscious for this fight to end, both of them being an option. Naruto would simply sit down on the pillar as he then lays back, falling asleep upside down, Kiba and Akamaru sitting there stunned, as the rest of the teams begin laughing, Naruto of course not joking. Gaara would be watching with interest, seeing how Naruto basically ignores Kiba, but Naruto has a pretty good reason for this. Remember how Naruto had killed Haku in the last part? Naruto isn't exactly looking forward to fights right now, and the last time he fought someone, that being Orochimaru, that was pretty much a life or death situation, so if something like this was an option, then he would just wait it out. Naruto wasn't really excited about having to fight someone so soon, after his experience recently, and still had some things he wanted to process, so taking a nap was probably a better use of his time. Shikamaru would feel some sort of kinship with Naruto here, as Kiba would be shocked, his jaw dropping to the ground, being stubborn, stomping his foot, saying this isn't fair, this is stupid, with him trying to climb the wall and slipping back to the ground each time. Kiba would eventually give up, giving in to Naruto's will and Kiba losing the fight. Next would be Sasuke's fight, which would have a bit of a change, with Sasuke here actually having an advantage because he doesn't have to worry about overusing his chakra like in the original where he had to watch how much chakra he's using because of the curse mark. This Sasuke would pretty much wipe the floor with the sound shinobi he fights, taking him out using a Lion's Barrage that was inspired by Rock Lee's moves that he had seen prior to the Chunin exam starting. I'd also like to add here that Sasuke now has his Sharingan activated, with him having been able to awaken the Sharingan through fear from Orochimaru. The strong enough emotion of Orochimaru's bloodlust awakening the one Tomoe Sharingan. So basically, Sasuke has his Sharingan activated for the rest of the Chunin exams after the Forest of Death. Yes, Sasuke kicks this guy's ass. He has no curse mark hindering him. He has his Sharingan. The Sound Ninja dude, who has one of the abilities of the Rinnegan without having a Rinnegan, is just fodderized by Sasuke. His ass is Lion's Barraged into next year. The rest of the fights are all going to be basically the same as they were in canon, until Neji versus Hinata, the biggest one, besides, of course, Gaara versus Rock Lee, which would be stopped by Mike Guy without interference from everyone else. Hinata versus Neji would take place with Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and the rest of the Leaf Ninja there watching, with Neji getting proceedingly more and more aggressive with Hinata. Naruto in this version, though, doesn't really care at all, because he didn't even live in the Leaf Village for most of his life. Like, he doesn't even know who this girl is. He, may have talked to her one time in his entire life. Naruto does not care at all. He doesn't care about Hinata. Yeah, that's right. Nothing would happen. Naruto wouldn't be cheering her on. Hinata wouldn't even feel like she could say that her Nindo was not giving up because, she doesn't really know Naruto in this timeline. You see, this version of Naruto, he saved her from those kids one time, was nice to her, and then left the village for 8 years or something like that, right? Let's just imagine for a second, all right? Let's just imagine that you were a 5-year-old, all right? And you were a quarter short at the ice cream truck, and then your hero, some boy or girl, depending on what you want, appears in front of you with a quarter and says, MC-kun, I will assist you in your ice cream endeavors. And so you get your ice cream, and then you never see them again for 10 years, and then they bring that up. Hey, remember when I gave you that ice cream? Aren't you in love with me now? So, no, that's not what's gonna happen. Nope. Instead, this just goes on until it becomes eventually a parody of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case, where people don't even know what's going on anymore because of how long it's been, and Hinata's ribs are all broken. So you sick fucks think Naruto's a show cleanser. I don't know. Anyway, Naruto would watch, realizing that this Neji guy might actually pose a problem to him in the future, thinking that now is the best time to watch this beatdown and see his fighting style, analyzing the Hyuga style and realizing that this style of fighting is actually a very good counter for his Wood style. You see, the way that Wood style works is that in order for Naruto to actually control and create forests and natural energy like you do with Wood style, Naruto has to run his own chakra through those things in order to control them. So, for someone like Neji, he could just break the chakra connection using this gentle fist style, and effectively deactivate a simple Wood style jutsu, making Naruto's Wood clones way less effective than they would be against a regular opponent who doesn't have the Byakugan. The time would come when eventually Hinata's fight would end, she'd pass out, and they'd pull the stretcher out, setting her carefully on top of it, thinking that this might be another Rock Lee case, where Neji may have gone too far, causing a case to form on both of their hands. Something I'm going to add here is that Sasuke is having a conflicted feeling about Lee. Lee being someone who had helped him when Naruto was being useless and unconscious, and also being a rival to him, having seen Lee's strength back in the Forest of Death when they fought alongside each other to defeat the Sound Ninja. So having seen Lee being beaten so mercilessly by Gaara, Sasuke was feeling something he hadn't felt for a long time, and that was rage for another person. Sasuke was used to feeling that flaming hatred that Itachi had lit himself within Sasuke, the flame of revenge, and with that flame now being added, he wanted revenge for Rock Lee. So Sasuke going into the next fight with Gaara is going to be way more motivated to fight him and defeat him for Lee. This is something that I feel was missing from the original Naruto, is just a desire for any of the main characters to even fight Gaara. Neji made sense with Naruto and Hinata's friendship being put into question in this arc, right? But with Gaara, he was just some random guy. Someone that Naruto saw himself in, this hard worker, Nine Tails chakra. But basically, that was all there was to it. Now, it was personal. Sasuke having seen Lee as a comrade, someone who had actually helped him in his time of need, which he hadn't gotten a lot of in the past. Anyway, with this final fight, the Chunin exams selection arc would come to an end, with the final contestants being picked being Shikamaru Nara, Temari, Gaara, Neji, Naruto Senju, Sasuke Uchiha, and all the filler characters that were put in. They would then announce that there will be a 1 month period of time between this and the next exam, giving them time to prepare the venue for the large tournament in front of all of the great nations who'd be arriving to witness this year's Chunin exams. With this now, Naruto, Sasuke, and the rest would leave the exam site, Naruto thinking if he could find Tsunade or anyone who'd be willing to train him, thinking about how he's going to take on that Gaara or Neji. This Naruto not even seeing Sasuke as a possible threat in this timeline. Well, that is for now. But I digress. Anyway, getting back to the point, this is where Jiraiya is going to come into play. If you guys remember a little while ago, I had said that Tsunade had promised Naruto that she was going to arrive to see the Chunin exams and see him crush them in front of Lord Third, proving his Hokage level status and also her debts getting wiped from her bank account completely, thanks to the village, of course. Naruto had been expecting Tsunade to arrive at the last section, realizing that the tournament section he was at was not the actual event. Knowing now that Tsunade was going to arrive a month later, Naruto was worried, not knowing what he was going to do, thinking if he was just going to train by himself for a month. That is until Jiraiya would arrive. You see, Jiraiya is still, in this version of events, Naruto's godfather, and ironically, it makes him and Tsunade almost like a couple in that she's his guardian and he's the godfather. Jiraiya being the revolutionary of his time, taking advantage of this fully to persuade Tsunade to deepen their connection further as parents. This would be causing her anger, with her punching Jiraiya so hard in the face he'd crack a tooth, saying he hasn't paid a single dime for Naruto since she had taken him in, telling him to get out of their sight. With Jiraiya leaving the gambling city, Naruto was like 6 years old this time, having no idea who this guy was. Naruto would remember him pointing, making a weird face as he says, You're the weird pervert who hits on grannies. What the hell are you doing here? I swear to God, old man, this time, if you try and go after Tsunade's arthritis-filled ass, I am going to throw you into a nursery home, alright? Look at your hair, man. You have white hair. How old are you? You don't even have wrinkles, bro. I bet you had white hair when you were a kid too, didn't you? You were probably one of those old aging, fast aging kind of kids. Jiraiya would tell him to stop making fun of him as he crawls into the corner, asking why his godson's so mean to him. Naruto would just be a little ticked off, asking why Jiraiya is here, saying he had been expecting Tsunade to arrive, to which she hadn't. Jiraiya would get up saying that Tsunade had sent him a little message, asking if he was actually willing to take Naruto with him to do some training. Naruto would scoff at this, looking at Jiraiya thinking, You? Really? Like, 30 minutes ago, I just fought Orochimaru, who's one of the Sannin on the same level as Tsunade. Do you really think you're as strong as those guys, old man? Jiraiya would have realized something. Tsunade had never told Naruto that he was the third Sannin. He would tell Naruto to come closer, whispering into his ear, saying that he's the third Sannin. Naruto would look at him, look back to the ground, look back to Jiraiya, and just make a quick smirk before he covers his mouth, trying not to laugh. Oh, that's... Your presence is really something. You know, I'm sure maybe with a transformation jutsu into the actual Sannin, Tsunade might believe you. Jiraiya would start walking away, saying this is worthless, saying that he didn't come here to be bullied by some brat. Naruto would sigh, saying if Jiraiya is actually serious and doesn't want to die, Naruto pulling his fist out, let's go somewhere. I can prove you're a Sannin or not, now that I fought two of them. I've already fought Orochimaru and Tsunade. Of course, Tsunade was only sparring me, but I still think it counts. If you're not a Sannin, then you better be prepared to die. Naruto would challenge Jiraiya to a sparring duel, telling Jiraiya that he has to prove that he's a Sannin. Jiraiya would laugh, saying he doesn't have to prove anything to him, saying he's gonna go find some girls in town. Naruto would fall over, saying, all of that buildup and you run away? I guess you really are some old loser who can't even hit on real girls and has to hit on grandmas. Jiraiya would take Naruto with him, saying that he's going to prove to Naruto that he can actually catch a real girl. The two of them basically taking part in illegal activities. Both of them getting chased out of town, Naruto screaming at him, saying now he looks like he's a pervert just like him. Jiraiya would laugh, saying he probably is, deep down. Naruto's eye would twitch as he stops running with Jiraiya, saying to fight him right now. Jiraiya would just laugh as he tells Naruto to give it his best shot. Naruto would move forward at blinding speeds, accomplishing this boost in speed by using Woodstyle and putting it on his feet, the heels of his foot actually. So the moment his foot touched off that ground for that first push, a barrier of wood would slam into the bottom of his shoe, pushing him forward and increasing his momentum. Naruto throwing a punch at Jiraiya, and nothing connecting. Excuse me? What? Naruto would suddenly realize he's on the ground, and Jiraiya sitting on top of him. Naruto would sweep his hand backward, Jiraiya simply disappearing, as Jiraiya would kick Naruto upward from the chin, Naruto falling over and grabbing his face, tears rolling down his eyes. How are you? Jiraiya would use a toad summoning, putting it to sit on top of Naruto and weighing him down, both of his arms being separated so he can't even use Woodstyle. Jiraiya would walk over saying that he's the Toad Sage of Mount Miyaboku, Jiraiya, the strongest of all the Sannin. Jiraiya would stand up, pulling the toad off, telling Naruto that he can believe him now. Naruto would say nothing, being embarrassed and blushing, telling Jiraiya he'll train with him. As the two would walk off with Jiraiya thinking about the first jutsu he needs to teach this kid. Definitely that. Yes. I'll see if he can actually be the one to perfect it. The jutsu the fourth Hokage made. His father's. The Rasengan. If you guys want to see the next part for What If Naruto was Tsunade's grandson, aka Senju Naruto, make sure to hit the like button, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe to my channel for more videos from me, hopefully more frequently. I've been working on some stuff behind the scenes for the last 2 weeks. This little pop-up on screen is something that I've had in the works for a while now. Something I've been working on, scripting, discussing with other YouTubers since January. I'll probably have an official video for this out eventually, but that's just a little sneak peek for you guys who watch till the end. Anyway, my question of the day for you all is, what jutsu should Jiraiya teach Naruto, besides Rasengan, of course? Maybe something that could even benefit his Woodstyle? Who knows? Not me, no. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.